Good afternoon, Traders Edge here with high-tech trading analysis. Just recently, I had a customer reach out and tell me that he was interested in my PriceTimes and wanted to know whether or not it worked in the market analyzer. And I wanted to take this time to briefly show how to do that. Now we decided that we want to utilize some of these values in the market analyzer. We could do that. We come to the market analyzer, and this is going to apply to kind of to the strategy builder as well. We're going to come down and we're going to select an indicator. Okay, now by default, this is going to be the indicator that is top of your list. This just happens to be the indicator at the top of my list, and that's why it's there. I now have to come over here and find the group indicator. Use the pull down here and then change that to whatever indicator I want to apply to the market analyzer. We're looking at applying the PriceTimes. Now, you're going to see quite a few properties here that you do not in the indicator. In the indicator, NinjaTrader allows me to hide all that stuff from you so that it's not a bunch of clutter in everything that can be done through the pull down. In Strat Builder and in the market analyzer, they do not. Most of this stuff is not going to matter at all if you're applying this as an indicator. What is going to matter is we do have to select the start times, because if we're going to use those values, we're going to need to have the proper times there. The plots, we're not plotting anything. We're not looking at missed. We're not looking at net change. All of the UI stuff has to be removed from the indicator. Any of the drawings, any of the UI, all of that gets removed when you're using it in the market analyzer or the strategy builder or even any type of outside script. Otherwise, you would get all kinds of errors. This is all done when we use that checkbox, use as strat. All of this gets pretty much removed. So we don't have to look at any of this other than we are going to need to, we're not going to see any plots. Again, all of this, we are going to have to select the plot we want to see. For now, let's just put previous week's high. None of this is going to matter. Input, none of this is going to matter. Okay, so this will matter. The only thing we've selected right now are the times and the plot we wanted to use here. But if we're going to, in any script, if you're going to look at a previous week's value, you have to make sure that you're loading enough data. Meaning, if I'm looking at the previous week's high, and today is Sunday, now, today happens to be Monday, but if it were Sunday, I would have to look 15 days back to make sure that I captured the Monday of the previous week. Because if I only loaded 5 days there, I'm not even loading the whole previous week, and that NinjaTrader counts Saturday and Sunday as part of the days that you enter here. Don't ask me why. These are not trading days. These are physical days. So if I want to look at a previous week's anything, I've got to load at least 15 days worth of data there. Okay, on bar close, I don't think any of this other stuff matters. We are looking for the data series, though. You could create some conditions here. We're just showing you real quick where is the data series to make sure that we have this checkbox. I might try to stick that on top. That checkbox must be checked. Where is my label? Indicator plots. Where is my label? And let's change the label to 4 things we've changed here. Previous week high. We've changed the label. We've changed the days we've loaded. We've clicked the use as strat, and we made sure our times were set. And we click OK. Now this is telling me the previous week's high is 21.529. I got my previous weeks turned off because they were previous week's high 21.529.75, 21.592. Yeah, well, it's the same number. That is what price time gives. It gives a price at a time, at an open, at a close, at a high, at a low, at a time. This in itself, adding it to the market analyzer, I mean, I guess you could color that green or something. If it's above or below, or set an alert, probably. I mean, you can work with that, but if you're looking at doing complex things like comparing 2 different start times along with yesterday's close, and you wanted to look at the various values, set conditions based on whatever it is that you're looking at, you're better off creating a market analyzer script for that. Now, to do that, all you have to do is open up NinjaTrader, open up NinjaTrader Editor. Okay, what you would do is come down and say, use the plus sign down here and say new market analyzer column. Now, I've just already made one here to show you how simple this is. You're making a script that's going to get stored over here that gets applied directly to the market analyzer. Now, the drawback to NinjaTraders is you can only generate 1 column from 1 script. So I can't have a script generate 2 or 3 columns going across, each one having different. I physically have to create a script for every column that we want. But to do that, you've opened it up. It's pretty blank. The only thing we have to do is declare an object to be our price times, to be our indicator. This is how we would do that. I just happen to use this as a variable name. Then we're going to initialize it in the state data loaded of the in this case a market analyzer. There are only 4 constructors that have to be filled in to use it. And if I hover over that, the first one is that use as strat. We've got to set that bool to true. If we're going to use that in any kind of script like this, that is a must. The first thing must be true. Then the next 3 are just start time 1, start time 2, and start time 3. These are ints. So there are 6-digit integers. If I wanted to look at 1 minute after 12, I would put 0:00:00:01, and that would give me 1 second after midnight. Now, NinjaTrader's just going to, C# is just going to ignore the leading zeros. You could just put 1 there. I don't need to put that. It's just easier and less confusing in the future if you just always think of that as a 6-digit number using leading zeros. Okay, so we declared it, we initialized it, now we're going to use it. Now down here in on bar update, all I'm doing in all of this is I'm creating, and if you were doing this in your own script, you would probably want to create these private variables up here and reassign them on every pass of your on bar rather than creating them every time. But just as a simple example, that's our indicator, right? This is where we initialized it. Prior time 1, prior high, prior low, prior close. I'm not going to go through all of these. This is how you get to each of those plots that we discussed before. And now in a market analyzer, again, I'm not here to teach you about the market analyzer, but the data type can be either a string or some type of numerical value. In this case, I've just set it for a string because I am going to combine time 1, time 2, and this isn't going to work because I haven't reached those times and we're past the session. Okay, so if that is the case, then we should be able to maybe do this. Let's just do this on the fly. We'll just look at the previous times, and that should work. So I'm going to look at previous time 1, previous time 2, and I'm going to display them all in the market analyzer. This is all there is to that. So now let's minimize that. To apply this, we're going to come back down to columns, and instead of finding the indicator, we're going to find what we called the script. What did we name the script? I forget what we named it. HT Market Analyzer PriceTimes Plus. Going to double click on that. It's going to add. Let's see what we need to look at here. Last values, days back. I guess I should have maybe... Well, I don't need that if I'm only looking at the previous days. So if that being the case, we only need, you know what, it's just always better. In 15 days ain't going to take long, ain't going to hurt. Transparent. I think that's all there is to it. And we're going to go ahead and add that. So how are we going to show that now? So previous price time 1, 21,203.25, 21,203.25. Previous price time 2. Where is previous price time 2? Am I not showing it? I'm not showing it. Okay, open previous. Let's look at previous price time 2. Looks like 212.50, and well, I'm sure they're all right. But that gives you an idea of how you can do that. I believe we could go back into the columns here, and I think you can change this also to whatever, right? So you could do whatever calculations you wanted and put a different price there. You could put a true false there. You can do, by using a script, you can use any of those values to create any conditions. Okay, I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. Thanks for your time. Be safe in this crazy world.